podcast time.
Oh, man, I'm so excited.
It's podcast time. Jason, you haven't been on the podcast in quite a while.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
It's a good thing I was gonna name it the Jason Murphy Memorial Podcast in light of your
like I died.
your passing away. But
you want to address that?
this is already the Don Matrick Memorial Podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to Rage Select. Yes, I am Jeff.
I'm Jason.
And let's kick things off with you want to talk a little bit about
Nobody panic.
Yes, please.
Or totally panic and like burn cars and turn them over and, you know, beat up old people in the streets and shit.
Come on.
Because that would get some publicity. Whatever you do, if you commit a crime, if you go commit some horrible crime and tell them Rage Select told me to do it.
Is that where we're at now?
Yes.
We're trying to foster Raiders fans. Is that what we're doing?
Yes, we need the publicity.
We need so the next time we have a convention, we'll have to have like the razor wire fence for fans of other websites to come through, so that our fans don't shift them on the way to the panel.
Yes, and people who weren't original Rage Select fans will have to get. They'll have to wear little things on their clothes to identify them, like maybe a yellow star or something, like for Mario.
Oh, come on, man!
For Mario.
Oh, for Mario.
Yeah.
Because wait,
It's a video game thing.
They like Mario, so they weren't our fans originally.
Okay, they have to wear a little Triforce thing,
A little to indicate
that
they were not original Rage
just
Select
so
fans.
we know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just so we know, they'll wear a little,
Oh, what is this?
and they'll stay in a camp.
10 seconds, and we're already the most horrible. Welcome, everybody, to the most horrible podcast on the internet.
Classiest
the most
podcast.
classiestly horrible podcast on the internet.
Yes. So I'm busy.
You are.
I'm just busy. So
Building those robots,
Yeah.
you're training the monkeys and everything.
I can't. I'm working on the lair and the volcano.
That's right.
I can't be here every day.
Yeah.
I can still be here a lot. That's why I brought Grant on
Yes.
to help carry the burden.
And, you know, I've been having Kevin on the podcast quite a bit to lighten it up a little bit.
So it's like the cast is expanding.
Yes.
And it's helping me out greatly. So
We haven't talked about that, as you were talking about being a little bit, you're starting to burn a little bit just on the amount. I mean, because I've said this on the podcast before and a few times, but like, the transition from working for somebody else doing this shit to doing it yourself,
Yeah.
it's so much work.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and it's weird, small, nitpicky shit that somebody else had to deal with before.
Oh, yeah.
Send somebody an email going, hey, can you fix this or blah, 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 whereas now, like, it's all on us. And,
It's all on you.
well, a lot of it's on me. But have you been feeling, you took your
Better. Yeah.
Better? Okay.
Yeah, it's helped. It's helped me actually meet deadlines, because it's like, I've got the day job and then I have contract work, and that was suffering. The
Right.
contract work, they were getting a little pissed at me. Probably have an angry email right now. And
Who could be angry with you, Jason? Come on.
Oh, I don't know. And and then the secret project, and then the other kind of secret project, the script thing, and
I think you have a wife
and a wife
and dogs and
dogs,
stuff.
yeah, and then God, I'm leaving other stuff out. There's other stuff. There are other things. Oh, the other podcast, Loose Cannon,
Right.
LoungeGeeks.com. Go check it out. Yeah, and I also, it's like, I have to play video games in there sometimes, which I really don't get to do much anymore.
Well, plus there's also the dirty little secret that I discovered a ways back, which is that if all you ever do is work, is podcast, and play video games,
Yes.
you can't have a conversation with an adult person anymore.
No.
Because all you can talk about, I'm like, do you want to talk about Killer is Dead? Because or GT or Saints Row 4 or any of the Splinter Cell, any of
Really?
the games that are out.
Jeff, do you know some shit's going on in Syria?
I just found out about that. Yes, I was too busy reading about twerking and what that is, and
Good to see you have your priorities. Everything that's wrong with America.
yeah, and Beetlejuice and all that stuff. So anyway, folks,
I'm not going anywhere.
Don't freak out. Don't freak out. Yeah, last week you should have seen the videos come up kind of as they're going to from now on, where Grant is going to come in and help us out on Mondays and Tuesdays. No, not help us out. He is one of us.
Yes.
He is one of us. I branded him last week with the little RS logo. which I still haven't managed
You should
to
have filmed that.
I know. He was screaming and stuff, though. I didn't want to. But yeah, Grant is in here, and he represents a, shall we say, a much fresh...
We've actually found someone who's worse at video games than us.
Well, I was going to say, Grant also isn't... he's a great... they do script writing, right? You need an avatar for the audience.
Yeah.
He's a good audience avatar.
He's the everyman.
Yes, exactly. He's our Marty McFly. He's our Luke Skywalker.
There you go.
He's Neo from The Matrix.
Slow down.
He's... okay.
He's Mahoney from Police... No, that's
Mahoney
doesn't
isn't
work.
our avatar.
No.
Who's our avatar in Police Academy?
With
With the schlubby guy, right, who leaves his wife
No.
who's terrible at stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we have an avatar in Police Academy. We don't really have an avatar in Police Academy, do we?
No, I could be a passable Larville Jones.
Yeah.
Michael Winslow.
Was he the big guy?
No, he's the dude that made all
Hightower?
the noises.
Oh, okay. He was in Spaceballs.
Yes.
He was awesome in Spaceballs. Whatever happened to that guy?
Dude, he was on some talk show a year or two ago. Some British talk show, and he does some classic rock song with his mouth.
Well, I was saying,
And it was fucking amazing.
that guy should have been the world's greatest beatboxer
Yeah.
that we all knew, right?
I was ready to just laugh at him. I was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And then he starts rocking the house, and I'm like, "Oh, dude,
How do you have to go to college for that?
I don't
How do you
know.
learn how to make 6 different noises with your mouth at the same time?
funny mouth noise college."
Right. I saw a guy one time who was a good beatboxer, but he did this thing where he would sample one thing and then he would hit the repeat button on
Sure,
that. And he
that's
would
cheating, but okay, whatever.
And it was a pretty cool show, but that dude, he never needed a machine. He'd just do it all.
Yeah, I have never garnered any sort of respect for beatboxers.
Why not?
I think it's fucking stupid.
What about the really good ones who can make all kinds of crazy noises?
Great, whatever. You still look like you're speaking in tongues.
Jason Murphy.
Play an instrument.
Not a fan of beatboxing.
Nope.
No. All right.
I am a crankier old man than Sparkle Fandango's Kristen. And she is a cranky old man.
All right, we're talking cranky old man. Which among us is the crankier of the old men?
You.
Me?
I don't know. We both have our cranky old man.
And so we have different
things.
quadrants of crankiness.
It's true.
Because I have weird nostalgia, naivete for games that you just
Yes.
fuck a bunch of this.
Yep.
Yeah, but then there's other things that I could give less of a shit about.
It's true.
Anyway, so this is the grumpy old man.
It is.
I told
That's what
somebody
the kids love. They love to hear cranky old men pushing 40 talking about games and how they don't understand why you kids like what you like, and we're out of touch.
people were like, "Oh, you're so." Somebody once said to me, like, "Oh, you're so."
Raven?
You're such an old man or whatever. And I was like, I've been an old man since I was 8 years old. And I was like, dumb kid.
Are you like Benjamin Button?
No. I was just, I don't know. There's people playing tag, and I'm just like, what's the point? You just, now you're it. Oh, tag, you're it. It's like, cool. Bye.
Great. I'm
Go
it.
hide.
Fuck off.
Whatever. I don't give a shit. Fuck you. It's like you get Ebola if you're it or anything. Well, hey, you know what? Speaking of cranky old men talking about video game stuff, we got a little news to take care of here.
Let's hear it.
All right. So first up on the hit parade is I had a whole bunch of people sending this to me and there seems like this is one of those ones where I'm going to have to go into my naivete quadrant. There were a lot of people who seemed like they were really upset that this existed, and I'm talking about the 2DS.
I don't understand.
Yeah, they were just
It
like,
seems just fine.
yeah, 100. For those who haven't seen it, it's a $130 3DS that doesn't have 3D and that doesn't have a hinge, and it's all one piece. It's obviously for kids.
Yeah, the 2DS.
Right.
I wish it had the hinge. I kind of like the closing portion, but missing the 3D, fine.
But it's obviously for children. It's less breakable parts for kids.
Oh, sure.
It's a
Okay.
cheaper
Yeah.
version of 3DS you can hand some kid, and then when they drop it or smash it or whatever the fuck they're going to do with it, you don't feel bad about it because it's only $130. I will say, though, that the naming of the whole 3DS category is
Yeah.
still a little weird because DS stands for dual screen.
Yeah.
So you have the 3DS should have had 6 screens on it, right?
Yes.
3 dual screens?
Your math is accurate, and you are shaking my faith in Nintendo's naming conventions.
So this is the 2DS. I think they should have called it the 1DS instead because it's just
one DS.
One DS, right?
Yes. I think they're working themselves into some sort of paradox here.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like, what happens 300 years from now when Microsoft comes out with the Xbox 360?
What?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Think about it. We're at the Xbox One.
Uh-huh.
And there's going to be an Xbox 2, an Xbox 3, and 4.
You think
there's going to be an Xbox 360, and it's going to break shit.
You think that the next Xbox is going to be called the Xbox 2?
Yes.
I highly doubt it.
Okay, probably not.
Because wasn't the whole reason they named the 360 the 360 so that they didn't have the Xbox 2 going up against the PlayStation 3?
Yes.
So that because dumb people would be like, well, 3 is more than 2.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I actually can kind of believe that might actually happen.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, there are people who don't know. There are parents who they don't know, and they just think, oh, I'll get the one with the higher number.
Sure,
yeah,
higher numbers are better, obviously,
clearly,
unless it's like the number of cancer that you have
or whatever.
How many tumors?
I'll take 3. That's a higher number.
How much AIDS do you have? You've been diagnosed with 3.
Yeah, no, in that case, it's like, well, my T-cell count is high, so that's good.
Yeah.
But when you have a lower number of the T-cell count, it's bad.
Okay.
We're talking science here. Disease. Well, welcome to the Video Games and CDC podcast.
The Pandemic Podcast.
Pandemic. Oh, that's a good name.
That's a good name. We should call that. People are still sending me suggestions.
Shut up.
For the name of the podcast.
Just shut up.
There's
the Rage Select Podcast. That's what it's called.
Yeah, too many.
It's done.
Silly naming conventions. I don't know. I would be more willing to just name it like Memorial Day Frittata, the podcast. Just shit that means nothing than anything at this point. So, yeah. Yep, 2DS. I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah.
But then Nintendo, to me, is largely kind of dead. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, but like, Wonderful 101 is the next game that I'm interested in, and that's the first game since.
Well, there's that 3D Mario World where you get to play as the princess and everything. I played it at E3.
Oh, yeah, but that's not coming out for a while.
I can't remember the nomenclature and everything. That one was cool.
Super Mario 3D World Wii U.
Yeah, it's
something.
I can't keep the names straight anymore because they're all kind of similar, But that one, I don't know, that was cool.
I mean, and a lot of people a lot of times get pissed off because they think I'm just straight bagging on everything that Nintendo puts out. But, I played Wind Waker when it came out.
Yeah.
I'm not super excited to play it again. Like, there are other new games that I would rather play.
Yeah, you don't want to sail around in the ocean interminably like you're on the fucking Kon-Tiki.
I think that they've changed some of that. I think they've tweaked some of that.
Oh, really? I
don't know.
Quick travel?
Maybe. Or like, we've got a little thing here, a new Mario Party. I don't
of course there's going to be a new Mario Party.
Don't really care. Don't really give a shit.
I'm still pissed at the last Mario Party that you made me play.
That was on the Wii. I think there's been another one since then.
Jesus.
There might have been a 3DS one, but...
just a bag full of monkey dicks.
I mean, I'm still trying to get past why you would play Mario Party when you own Rock Band, which everybody already owns Rock Band.
I've never been a big Rock Band fan.
Yeah?
Yeah.
DJ Hero?
No.
SingStar?
No. I mean, I'll go, go to Randy's for Randy had Rock Band parties all the time, and I'd go every now and then, but I never really got into the game itself.
I went to the last one, and
mostly because I would see people and I'd just be so ashamed of them. Like, and I've said this before, it's like, I would watch Randy play the guitar on like the super hard setting or song or whatever on Rock Band, and his fingers are moving all up and down like a spider, and I'm like, you could actually be playing an instrument right now, you dumb son of a bitch.
Well, it's funny because Rock Band, yes. But that is kind of like the Rock Band classic.
Yeah, I know.
Crank, grump, essentially.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that even if you just have like the straight up Rock Band kit, if you get good at the drums in Rock Band, you're actually kind of learning how to play the drums a little bit.
Cool.
You're learning how to use both hands independently and your foot and all that stuff. You're not going to be Neil Peart or Mitch Mitchell or anything like that, but you can actually kind of get a little bit out of that.
And then a Def Leppard song would come on when I was playing the drums, and I wanted to be realistic, and I would put one arm behind my back.
Oh, Jason.
The drummer for Def Leppard's only got one arm.
I know that. All right, let's move on. This is news that should shock pretty much nobody, but Saints Row 4 came out and sold 1 million copies the first week it was out.
As it should.
And I think that just goes to show, once again, we've talked a few times about how developers have been putting in hooks or we get. Okay, let me back up. I'm trying to express this properly. About how you've got a lot of things in the game industry that we're starting to see combating used games, combating playing online for free, free to play, augmentation, things like that. This just goes to show that if you fucking make a good game, people will buy it.
That's not always true.
It's mostly true.
More often than not.
I mean, Mirror's Edge, Beyond Good and Evil, sometimes these things happen.
Yeah, I mean,
Psychonauts, but,
there's still great games out there that don't break even. Just like there are great bands that you will never hear of. There are amazing movies that people don't end up seeing.
Great video game websites that you haven't ever gone to.
Also that.
Your friends don't know about that you should maybe tell them about.
Yeah.
Nudge, 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 nudge.
Wait, yes. We're talking to you.
Listener.
But, it's... But more often than not, if you have quality, you will be rewarded. And I think that's the case. Saints Row is a quality game.
Well, and the other thing about Saints Row is that Saints Row 4 was more creativity than it was any kind of super... it's not the best-looking game that ever came out. It didn't take forever to develop.
Yeah, they weren't trying to reinvent the wheel.
Right, and I think it just goes to show that you can have a good game that doesn't... And that a lot of times when they get on these things about, well, you got to buy an online pass, or we don't want you to be able to buy it used, or nobody makes any money, it's because you're making a product that people don't necessarily want, or that they want it a little bit, but not enough to go out day one or pay full price for. Because stories like this show that fucking, 1 million copies in a week.
Yep.
$60.
Yeah.
Like, if Saints Row can do it, you can totally do it as well. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. All right, well, this next one is a news story that I pulled specifically for you, Jason.
Oh, boy.
Because I know that it will make you want to set something on fire. So
I'm
you
ready?
You ready?
Yep.
Uwe Boll wants to make Postal 2, and he's got a Kickstarter to do it with. And let's take a look at his Kickstarter and see what it's up to. Oh, look at this picture. Look at this picture.
Oh, no.
All right.
Okay, Uve Boll made Blood Rain and In the Name of the King and
all the worst video game movies ever.
House of the Dead.
Yep.
He's not a
Far
filmmaker. He's a business guy who is really good at taking advantage of German film subsidies.
Yep.
And this is, to go back to our earlier topic, this is right up there with the Holocaust.
Oh, really?
Uwe Boll. This country will never run out of things to apologize for.
Uwe Boll's continued existence. Well, here's the good news, is that he's got 283 backers and $22,000 of his $500,000 goal.
Well, he's still got almost 2 months.
$500,000 to go. 53 days left to go as of recording this.
Don't give him money.
Let's see what the backer rewards are. Maybe you can punch him in the balls or something. Let's see what the biggest one is.
Let's see. You probably get to be
all
a
the way
producer
down.
or something.
If you $10,000 or more, you will receive an executive producer credit. You will be participating on the worldwide revenues of the movie. So you actually get points. Well, that would mean something if Postal 2 wasn't going to be the...
Well, for $500,000, it probably will. But, there's
10,
probably
000.
some sneaky...
What's this? Are you reading this? I'm sorry. For $10,000, and you will be Boll's assistant on set during the production and get free hotel and food. You learn filmmaking from the best. It actually says, so from the best.
Wait, I'm sorry.
You
Is Werner Herzog going to be there teaching you on the side?
Full package with poster, shirt, DVD, and you will be in the credits as an associate producer, and you will go with Boll and the whole cast for, and this is capitalized, a big dinner.
Right.
Unfortunately, this one is gone. There was probably only one of them, and somebody already picked it up.
Yeah.
But goddamn, if I'd have known about this, maybe we could have done a fundraiser to get $10,000, and you could have gone and been Uwe Boll's grip right? And then at the end, you could have beat him to death with a baseball bat in his trailer to keep him from doing this ever again.
You know what? No, I could have been his grip or whatever and just sabotaged it.
Yeah.
Been just like a sapper.
I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to sabotage.
How would you know? It's like, I did everything I could. I burned down all of the sets on the first day. They still made the fucking movie.
And here's for another. All the top ones are 10,000. Here's another 10,000. Direct scenes. I assume it just means scene. Direct a scene of Postal you write. Also, this scene will be as extra on the. Okay, obviously somebody German wrote this. Okay, direct as scenes of Postal you write, comma, 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 comma. Also, this scene will be as extra on the DVD if we cannot use it for the full film. You also get the full package with poster, shirt, blah, 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 blah. And you get to go to the Capitol, a big dinner. Okay, here we go with this one. Play a part with 5 lines. We guarantee your takes will be on the DVD in the USA. You also get the full package, blah, 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 blah. 10,000. You receive a credit as executive producer and have permanently access on the set in Vancouver, Canada. Flight transfer and lodging is not included. And let's see, 7,500 speaking role, yada, 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 yada. Okay, so for $1,000, you get 2 tickets to the premiere in Los Angeles.
Oh,
None of this sounds worth it. What's the lowest?
Yeah,
$5. You get an exclusive newsletter, and you will be always up to date from pre-production until release. For $5,
For $5.
you can subscribe to their newsletter.
To their Twitter feed.
That's right. I'm surprised that one of them isn't a subscription to your magazine of choice, Esquire or
Do not give this guy money.
Speak.
Don't do it.
Oh,
Part
man.
of the problem if you do.
Yep. Did you see Postal?
No.
I'm assured that it is one of not the worst video game movie, but one of the worst movies of all time. Apparently, there's a scene where a dude actually rolls the fat woman in flour to look for the wet spot.
What?
Sex scene, yes.
All right, well, now I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw In the Name of the King.
Yeah.
I actually watched that with Cargill. He had me over, and we watched that. And I'm like, what the hell is your problem?
Oh, dude, I got drunk.
That was the Dungeon Siege movie.
Yep, with Jason Statham and Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds as a king.
Yep.
As a medieval king.
Yep.
And Ray Liotta as an evil wizard. Oh, my God.
For me, it's not even that I'm so flabbergasted that he keeps getting to make movies. It's the people that he gets in those movies.
Yes.
Like Ben Kingsley was in Blood Rain. And, Jason Statham, I know bro's got to get paid and shit, but, seriously.
Yeah.
Just
have some pride in your work.
At least by Postal, nobody would work with him anymore, so I think it's like David Spade. No, not David Spade.
David Spade.
One of the Kids in the Hall guys.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember who I'm talking about.
Maybe I did see Postal.
Let's take a look at the cast list real fast. Let's see who we got for it.
I saw a movie with one of the guys from the Kids in the Hall, the one that was on News Radio.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, films. Yeah, Dave Foley.
Dave Foley, that's what I'm thinking.
Zach
Zach
Ward.
Ward, Chris Coppola.
I did see this.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
Vern Troyer.
I did see this movie,
Yeah.
I think.
Erica, Lindsay Hollister. I don't know who any of the...
No,
Uwe
wait, no.
Boll.
I
Uwe
don't
Boll
know.
was in the movie.
I can't keep it straight.
Yeah. J.K. Simmons, I expect better of you as well. I don't know. I guess people just got to get paid.
Did I see part of this? Oh, I walked out. That's what happened.
You stopped watching it.
I did.
You were smart.
Yeah. I walked out. I left, and I went behind the theater and found one of the actors in the movie smoking a bowl.
Seriously?
Yes. I will not say who, but yes.
Was it this one?
It was indeed.
Okay.
He was very nice and said he needed the money.
Yeah, well, I would assume. I kind of want to. Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
I'm not going to tell who he is.
Yeah, but no, he's a cool guy. But he was like apologizing for the movie, or he wasn't apologizing. He was like explaining to anyone. He's like, people give me shit because I'm in an Uve Boll movie. But,
right.
It's like, man, you got to pay the rent.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, dude. Yeah, sure.
Sometimes you got to do stuff.
Right on.
All right.
But yeah, I did walk out.
Okay, cool. That's a good move on your
Yeah.
part.
Well, I saw it at Fantastic Fest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You were just telling me how you thought Fantastic Fest has gone downhill. Was this one of the good years?
Yeah, actually.
Okay. All right. Next up in the realm of shit, what's getting lots of money, Star Citizen is up to $17 million.
Yeah.
And once again, proving
It's gonna happen.
It's already happening. They already released. I'm not a backer, but you know what? I'm almost thinking that I need to go become a backer because they released something lets you like walk around a ship or something.
Yeah, you don't get to fly your ship, but they release your garage, basically your hangar.
Yeah. I don't know if you get that for the super cheap amount. But,
I don't
know. But this thing is continually being crowdfunded. I've never heard of anything crowdfunding as high as this, right?
Damn, I don't know. That's got to be way up there, right?
I've never seen or heard of a Kickstarter that has as much as this. But
see, don't give your money to Uve Boll.
Right.
Give your money to Star Citizen.
That's right. I mean, you can't. How are you going to go wrong? Like, okay,
the game could really suck.
Yeah,
that's how you could go wrong.
Okay,
but,
so that's that. I don't want to I pulled the story up because I thought it was cool, but now that it's up, I realize that I'm just like, hey, they got a lot of money. That's cool, right? But okay, what's going to happen, Jason, if this game sucks?
Oh, see, we're still on that frontier of how crowdfunded things work and how they pay off because
we haven't had a big one yet. We haven't had a big
hit.
No, we've had a lot of stuff that's been successfully crowdfunded that's been cool.
Yeah.
But we haven't yet had one of these that was over $1 million that then went.
And there has been stuff that's been funded that just doesn't get released and people don't get their money back. It wasn't a video game. It was it? It was like a card game or a board game or something.
Oh, yeah, a few of those things.
And then I actually know like someone who successfully crowdfunded, it was a very small amount, something that person was going to create.
Vagueness.
I know, I'm being very vague. And I kind of had that suspicion then, but now I'm like, yeah, that shit is never happening.
Yeah.
It's never coming.
It's never coming out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I would be interested to know, like, what exactly, like, if one of these things can break it, if, say, Star Citizen comes out, right, and it's bad, will that shatter essentially everybody's faith in this model? Because it'll have to be like, well, we can't give you your money back. We spent your money to make this.
Right.
And it's garbage.
Yeah.
So is that going to be one of those ones where everybody is just like, oh, it's going to be so good, and then it comes out and it's just like, bleh.
I don't know. I mean, are we starting to see crowdfunded stuff cool, like, across the board yet? I mean, it seems like the mania for it has been... People have started to get...
cool down.
Yeah.
Right.
Just generally, like Kickstarter, stuff like that. People have... the mania seems to have died down a little bit, from what I understand. Or at least there's a lot of skepticism... A lot more skepticism cast towards crowdfunded projects now, especially since you see, like, Zach Braff out there trying to fund something,
Right.
And I don't know, somebody else who could easily afford to fund it themselves.
I think that, it's weird. I think that some of the stuff that we're seeing, I still think it's going pretty strong. In fact, I have a story coming up that'll show you it's still going strong. But I think that one of the other things that I'm kind of worried about is I'm just looking at stuff that it says has been successfully crowdsourced here, and I don't know if these things have actually been released. Jesus, look at these numbers. I never even heard of this. Realm versus Realm MMO, Camelot Unchained got 2,232,000 on Kickstarter. That was in May. Shovel Knight, Shroud. I think that the one thing that I just keep worrying about is that you've had some of these that have had successful Kickstarter campaigns where they've had to go back to Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Because they make enough to essentially make most of the game, but then you have to submit it for QA and stuff to places. You have to Xbox has, you have to pay to submit that stuff. Plus a lot of these that I've also seen have been crowdsourced and then they're for sale later on as well. So, like Shadowrun, you could buy it.
Oh, right.
After it came out. So I don't know. I still believe in it as a business model.
Yeah.
I really hope that it's the sort of thing that we're able to continue to have faith in because I love the idea of developers getting this money directly instead of.
Well, really, bullshit, it's like buying, a movie you haven't seen yet.
Right.
It's like it might suck. You know, it might not, or a game you haven't seen yet or played yet. You know, you're going to buy it and then you find out it sucks and you're stuck with that game. You know,
Yeah.
Or you might buy it and you're like, hey, I'm glad I put my money towards this. So it's a little, it's different, but I don't know. I really like the idea of it.
Maybe the big thing is just the expectation.
Yeah.
Is like if you give $10 to someone, like you have to look at what the bottom line is, because it's something like Star Citizen where you give $20 or $30 and then it ends up being funded up to $17 million. You can expect a AAA game. On the other hand, if it's like, what was the one I was just looking at? Shadowrun.
Yeah.
You know, Shadowrun was $500K, which in the video game development realm,
It's very little.
very little money. And
Yeah.
so some people were complaining about like even when we did the review, it was like the length of the campaign and the amount of work that was put into certain things on it. You know, it's still something that was only a $500,000 labor of love. Oh, look, here's your favorite.
Dive kick.
$30,000.
You know what? Somebody, okay, and how much did they fund for? How much did they get?
32.
They got $32,000 from their Kickstarting fund.
Yeah.
Someone out there is running around with $31,975.
They got picked up by Iron Galaxy after that and had additional money put in, which is why they have like the GGPO license and things like that. But
fuck them.
Oh, I mean, look at how many of these games. I'm just looking at these. How many of these haven't come out? Cloudberry Kingdom came out. It was 20,000.
Oh, why didn't we play that? I don't know, because it's called Cloudberry Kingdom.
It's supposed to be pretty cool. There's Leisure Suit Larry Reloaded was $500,000.
Did that come out?
Wait, there's Shadowrun Returns. This says $1.8 million. This Wikipedia page is obviously totally fucked up and wrong. So
the hell you say?
FTL looks like they said that it was 10,000 they wanted, and they ended up with 200.
Good for them. That was a cool game.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we still haven't seen Double Fine Adventure.
Yeah. All right.
So, all right, next story. And this is the one that's speaking of things that are kickstarting. Keiji, I don't know how to say this. Keiji? Keiji
Inafune?
Yeah, well, I know Inafune. He's the creator of Mega Man.
Right.
And, you know, he had problems with the last Mega Man game, got scrapped, Capcom shut it down. You remember the whole Mega Man online, the little figures fighting each other? So he's out there now running a Kickstarter for this game, Mighty Number 9. And as you could see...
Peter was raving about that, or excited about it, or whatever.
Who was?
Peter.
Oh, right. As you could see, it bears maybe a slight resemblance.
That looks very familiar.
To Mega Man, a little bit. There was an article with him where he said, well, of course, I drew Mega Man, and this is my art style, so it's probably going to look a lot like Mega Man.
What is his style?
Mega Man. Mega Man, obviously.
Yeah. It's like, this is good, but all of your guys look like Mega Man.
Well, not just that, but you can see some other stuff on their site, other robots, just kind of the way that the robots in the game look.
Yeah.
Like it looks a lot like just stuff that you'll see out of Mega Man. But so far, as of the this recording, I'm trying to find the boop-a-doop-a-doo. Here's that. There we go. Nope, that's not it. Let's go check this out. Damn it! All right, I'm just gonna have to fucking look it up.
All right. Yeah.
They wanted 500. They wanted 900,000.
Okay.
So just shy of $1 million. And basically, if you watch the video that he put out, he basically just wants to do this to do the Mega Man game that he's always wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
Side-scrolling, next gen, with the classic kind of Mega Man aesthetic, but then in a modern console setting with new stuff added into it.
Yeah.
Seems pretty cool.
And he did all right.
He's 1.4 million out of 900,000.
Like a month to go.
Yeah, it's been up for a couple of days. So
that's cool. I'm sure Capcom is totally okay with this too.
Well, you know, this is one of those things. This is one of the reasons I brought it up. Is do you think that Capcom would have the stones with all the negative press they've been getting off of DLC and just their overall business practices to come and it would be like? Do you think Nintendo would have the huevos to sue Shigeru Miyamoto if he started making another platforming game
that looks a lot like Mario?
That kind of looked like Mario?
You know, I mean, with that looks this similar, I would be like, fuck yeah, we're going after you.
Yeah.
It's like, I know you created it, but we own that shit.
Yeah.
It's like when you work for a company and you create something that belongs to them.
Yeah.
Period.
But,
Unless you've worked out some sort of creator-owned rights.
But is there any way for them to do that and not look like the biggest dicks in the entire planet? Or do you not even see them looking like dicks in the first place?
No, they would look like dicks. But that's the thing. They'd be right.
Sure. But just because you're right doesn't mean you're not a dick.
You're not wrong, Walter. You're just an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think they don't need another reason to have people angry at them.
Still.
You think it'll go? You want to put some money on it?
Still, the gaming public, the gamers would get annoyed.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, you dickheads and everything. Everybody else, the people who pay the majority of their bills and keep the lights on, they're not going to know. But they don't know who this guy is.
Do you think that Capcom really has a lot of like single business dads and fucking people who don't know about Mega Man? I mean, Capcom seems to be right now riding nostalgia and nothing more.
Yeah.
I mean,
so now they've got this dude trying to steal some of their nostalgia mojo.
Yeah.
If I were Capcom, I would be showing up at that dude's door with a bunch of, sharp-toothed barracuda lawyers and just like, listen, this is adorable, dude, but did you really think you were going to get away with this?
But then, there is another argument to be made of saying that, like, if this guy can say that for 20 years, drawing like this, like the character that you see, this Mighty Number 9 guy on screen, drawing like this has been the way that I draw. This is my art style. And that, yes, you have Mega Man, who is a dude in a blue helmet with a gun as one of his arms. I have a dude in a different blue helmet with no gun on his arms, and I drew him, so he looks like... It'd be like saying that if a multinational corporation bought, like, Garfield, right? If Jim Davis went and drew another comic about a dog that looked like his style, can you really tell somebody you can never draw again because your style... We own your style, essentially.
I guess that's up to the judge and jury.
I mean, I think
But looking at it right now... That's fucking Mega Man.
I think that as long as they have enough of a differentiate, like if they have, here's 9 robots that you have to go fight, and when you beat them, you get their powers. I don't think you could do that because that is too. But then once again, you come to, like in the gaming world, can you trademark? You can't have 9 robots with power. You can't get powers from the bosses that you beat because everybody does that. As a concept. So
I don't know. I just think right out of the gates, all of this money is going to go towards lawyer fees.
Yeah. Well, who can say? I don't know. I'm interested in playing something that is not just a Mega Man. Like I really would like a new Mega Man that isn't just a throwback.
Sure.
To the old.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Sure.
So, cool. All right, and what would, at the end of the day, the Don Magic Memorial Podcast honestly be without an Xbox One story?
Hey, let's hear it.
Apparently at launch, the Xbox One will not support external storage, says Major Nelson.
Fuck you.
He said that it will, something that they're working on eventually, but it will not be in their initial launch. Also, there was another story that I cut out here real fast that was that, you know how the Xbox is all like, Xbox, watch TV for me. Xbox, order me another pizza. Xbox, I don't like to leave the house. Apparently, that's only going to work in 5 out of like the 11 launch countries.
Yeah, something ridiculous like that.
So, I don't know. You know what? It's been a while since you've been here, but you've been following the news with the Xbox rolling back on a bunch of different other things.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Xbox One these days?
It's, I don't know. I kind of wish they'd just been like, yeah, fuck it. We're sticking to our guns.
Yeah.
We're keeping all of that stuff in there, and we're going to prove you right. Or we're going to prove ourselves right.
Right.
And you guys are going to have to eat your words, and you're going to come around. It might be a few years. Yeah, but rolling all this back, it's just like, damn, guys, now I'm just starting to feel sorry for you.
Well, I mean, let's not mince words.
Now you're like an abused spouse.
It's the PlayStation 4. They've rolled everything back to the point where it's pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah.
And now you could decide whether you like Sony properties or you like Microsoft properties, and you can pick which console you want out of those.
Well, see, and once they do that, it's like they do have a lot of exclusives. So, but it is still going to be $100 more expensive.
Some, but I don't know. I still think they can. I still think they can get away with it. I don't know, or not get away with it, but I still think that it's kind of anybody's game at this point. And as they get closer, as they get closer to parity between the two consoles, I don't know. It's just going to be 10 years down the line. Is there even going to be a difference between these two? Or
I don't know. Again, it's. I see what they're trying to do because they were getting trounced because they were so different. I don't know. Maybe they should have taken that hit up front and and had all this, this brave new world of console gaming. Had people catch up and realize how cool it could be. I don't know.
But, and also at the end of the day, you're also. It's weird for me to see Microsoft cave under internet pressure. Because if I've learned anything, if we've all learned anything from the internet and the people on the internet who don't like stuff, it's that it's generally split about 50-50. Is that people didn't want them to have the you've always got to be online thing.
Yeah.
So they took it out. And what was the first thing that happened? Was a petition from people who were fans of that, who were not complaining, who wanted them to reinstitute it. So I think the only thing that we can all agree on is fuck the Kinect. Yeah. There's not anybody out there who likes the Kinect. Right?
No. I mean, maybe this one will work well.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
You doubt it.
Maybe. I mean, it'll probably work better. How could it not?
Right.
But
how could it be worse?
Yeah, because it was so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's still $100 more. It's like here's what it boils down to. It's like, okay, we are going to strip away everything that made it new and different.
Right.
Because you could kind of see how, like I've said before, you could kind of see how it could possibly really be a next-gen system.
Sure.
How it really could define this generation. But everybody was pissed about that because it was very restrictive, and a lot of it was because of the way they pitched it.
Yeah.
They sold it completely wrong.
John Matrick.
Yeah. As we've said many times before.
The infamous quote of his, well, we already have a system that plays games offline. It's called the Xbox 360.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you smug prick. But so they take this game and they're like, okay. You know what? We're going to get rid of all of our stuff that we should have pitched as advantages to begin with.
Right.
And that we should have used as advantages. We're going to strip all of that away. We're going to make this just like the PS4, except we're going to have the one thing we've got. It's going to be $100 more, but we are going to have this awesome device that everybody already knows is a piece of shit.
We're going to have.
So it's like, wait, I'm going to pay more for this thing that I don't want that never fucking worked when I had it before? No.
I mean, since you've been on the podcast, not only that, but that you don't have to even use anymore. You don't even have to have it plugged in to the console.
Did they strip that away too?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know they walked back on that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you haven't been.
I missed that part.
Following that part. Yeah. No, you don't even have to have it plugged in anymore.
Which you still have to buy it though.
They had said the last thing that they did was that they said they're not offering a SKU that comes without it, but that it does not even have to be plugged in anymore for the console to operate. Well, when we heard that news, Kevin and I were talking about it. My response to that was like, well, then it's worthless. Because at least when you could be guaranteed that it was plugged in, developers could try to work on it.
Right.
But now it's going to be that stupid fucking thing that is sitting under those blankets over there that I don't give a shit about. And what developer is going to want to put time in for a feature that nobody's going to use? They're not going to want to pay for that.
Right.
So they're going to, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, at this point, who gives a fuck about the Kinect?
I just, as far as the Kinect goes, for me, obviously they have a lot to prove.
Sure.
I mean, they're going to have a killer app that works flawlessly.
Yeah.
And that's a tall order, really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be leaps and bounds above where they are. Now, I've talked to people who actually like the Kinect. And who...
For what?
For
video game? For Angry...
Star Wars Kinect.
Fruit Ninja?
Star Wars Kinect, Jeff.
Oh, yeah?
I know people. I've met them who like it.
They're still alive.
Yeah.
Even now, after all this time.
And so, maybe it's not a total wash, but I don't know. I mean, how many Kinect games have I played over the last year?
Yeah, well,
not a lot, but like, what, 10?
In 2012?
Yeah.
You played...
Between this time...
Steel Battalion, or the Armored Core... No, it was...
You know what? I don't even want to relive it.
Star Wars Kinect.
Several.
Fruit Ninja.
Racketeer.
No, I played Racketeer. Remember,
I played it a little bit.
You played it...
Enough to know I didn't want to play it again.
Did you play it at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Not very many. But, it comes down still to a thing that we've talked about a whole bunch of times in the past where you say that, like, for your average non-gamer type that doesn't have that synesthesia of the mind-body interface with the controller where you're not thinking about your thumbs.
Right.
That person, when you hand them a controller with all this bullshit on it, they are pulled out of the immersion of the game by having to deal with the controller, and they are more immersed when they just stand up and flail their arms around. Whereas with us, we have a perfectly viable interface that it doesn't. Whereas it's more distracting to be standing up and waving your arms around.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I'm really hoping that somebody out there. I'll put this on the hopes of Jeff's dream stuff, is that if somebody out there can make a game that uses the Kinect in a non-invasive way to augment the gaming experience and make it more immersive, great. That does not mean swinging the sword with my arm. That does not mean standing up and dancing in my living room. That means some kind of voice and maybe personal detection stuff that augments the existing game that is reliant on a control. Something you could turn off and you wouldn't miss it.
Yes.
But when you turn it on, you're like, whoa, this is cool, man.
Yeah.
This is way better. So, yeah. But yeah, as far as the them taking it out, I'm just waiting for the day when there's a news story saying that they're offering a $400 SKU that doesn't have the Kinect in it.
Oh, yeah.
Because at this point, why the fuck not?
Right.
Why be $100 more for something that you have essentially, by stripping it out of the system entirely, admitted nobody wants and cares about?
I'm just picturing all of these execs, sitting around a table that they've been at, like, for the last 48 hours, and they're all sweaty, and there's fast food wrappers. And there's it's like a jury deliberation. There's one guy going, we got to keep it on there, man. Everyone's like, no, just no.
Oh, Jimmy Matrick, Don Matrick's kid.
Yeah,
I like to think there's a Matrick at Microsoft.
Yeah,
there was also a thing last week. I don't have the specifics on it, but did you read Steve Ballmer stepping down?
Yeah, I did.
It's interesting. It's kind of weird to envision a Microsoft without Gates or Ballmer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a little strange.
I thought Steve Ballmer was going to live forever. I thought he drank the blood of children.
Right.
Obviously, Well, all right. Enough about that. Let's move on to the emails. We're going to have a little bit shorter week this week. Where were we at? We're about 45 minutes right now. I'm going to try to wrap all this up in about 45 minutes. So we got some of your emails. Before we get started, the email address is mail@rageselect.com. I am getting everybody's emails again. So mail@rageselect.com is the email address. And we need your emails if we are going to continue doing this show. And our first, this is the last email. I got them in the wrong order. The first email is one. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay, this is from Kuda, and I'm going to try... You're going to
try not to be an asshole?
I'm going to imagine, first of all, I'm going to imagine this person as Barracuda from the Punisher comics.
Punisher comics, right.
Obviously. Second of all, I'd like to try to keep a lot of hate out of this person's hair from me. You go right ahead. All right.
Okay.
So, this is from Kuda, and Kuda says, Hello. I predict that GTA 5 will be a commercial failure in comparison to its counterparts such as Saints Row 4.
You're adorable.
Hold your applause for the end, please.
Sorry.
Based on three things. One, its budget, $137 million, means it needs to sell 2.3 million copies to make a $1 profit. Two, Saints Row 4, rumored at 1.5 million production budget, has sold over 1.3 million copies, which means that it's super low cost. If its super low cost is true, it made $76 million profit. 3, GTA 5 is too ambitious and serious for the average gamer. It looks more like work than fun, and I feel that all the hype for it is mainly in nerd/gamer culture and not in the market that pushed Call of Duty into the billions. Do you agree or disagree? Kuda.
Jeff, do you want to break down the math?
All right. First of all, disagree.
Yes.
Okay. Second, let's start with the beginning.
Point the first.
And I'm going to do some math here right on the spot. The budget for GTA 5 is high. I'm not going to dispute that. $137 million is pretty big for game development.
That is large.
Now, just though to put that in comparison, I went on the internet and did a search for the budget of Grand Theft Auto 4.
Which
most of the websites that I saw seemed to say $100 million.
Okay, I thought it was more, but sure, we'll go with that.
So let's just say that inflation and rising development costs, it's about average, right? Or about similar as far as high development budget.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to add this up here real fast with my handy-dandy calculator. And as we all know, VG Charts is not the best thing in the world, so yada, yada, yada. As far as GTA 5, the first point making selling $2.3 million to make a $1 profit. According to VG charts, Grand Theft Auto 4 sold 9.85 plus 0.7474. Let's just say, for the sake of easy math, that it sold about 20 million copies.
Okay.
This is 10 million. This is roughly 10 million on the Xbox, roughly 10 million on the PS3, and then that rough change is added up in what I'm not even sure if this is correct though. It's here on Game Trailer or on VG charts it says 0.74 million on the PC. I could swear that it probably has made more than that.
Right.
You also got all the DLCs, which I'm not counting in here.
We'll leave that out. Right.
But let's just say the base game sold 20 million copies.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to multiply that by $40, not $60.
That's being generous.
$40 says price drops,
Sure.
free games, bundles, whatever. You got $800 million.
Right.
So now let's take that $100 million development cost and subtract it from $8 million, and you have a $700 million profit.
Yeah.
That is like fucking country, the GDP types of money for places, or budget for a major metropolitan area.
That's a lot of Saints Row 4s right there.
Which goes to point number 2, Saints Row 4 making $76 million.
Oh.
As opposed to, let's say, $700 million. Now, here's another...
That's like 10 times more, Jeff.
I know. Now, let's take that number, just for the course of our math. Let's take that $700 million number, and let's go ahead and deduct the cost of Grand Theft Auto 5 from it. All right? And I'm going to put the cost of Grand Theft Auto 5 at $150 million, which is over, it's $23 million or $13 million over what they currently have.
Yeah.
Let's say that that's all going to be, let's say $3 million of that's going to be continued development, and another $10 million of that is going to be advertising when the game comes out. That still means that before GTA 5 even comes out, from the Grand Theft Auto series and GTA 4, there's still $550 million profit left over from GTA 4. So I don't think it's going to be a problem for GTA 5 to make money. Now, that brings us to point number 3.
Yes.
Would you like to talk about... I feel like I've been doing some Glenn Beck chalkboard shit here for a little while.
Yep, I would. GTA 5 is too ambitious and serious for the average gamer.
Okay. Let's talk about the beginning of this next sentence.
This next one.
It looks more like work than fun.
No.
Now, here's the thing is I don't understand where this is coming from, because the trailers that I've seen look fucking amazing.
Yeah. He's that one guy. I would like to know if there are more of him out there. Because, wow. I don't know of anyone who hasn't seen a GTA 5 trailer. People who don't even play games like, see that Grand Theft Auto 5 trailer? It looks pretty fucking... Yeah. Not gamers.
Yeah.
Not gamers.
Yeah.
Non-gamers have said, well, that shit looks awesome. Am I going to have to get a new Xbox? No, sir, you're not. You are not. Too ambitious and serious? I don't get the serious part.
Well, I think that it might be, and this may be part of just the way that they're marketing it. And I don't know, maybe this is going to affect people, but they seem to be focusing a lot in some of the trailers about all of the other stuff that you can do besides violence.
Yeah, there's lots of sports in there.
Yeah, just like sports, and there's
now
buying real estate.
The too ambitious thing? Maybe
so.
But they've pulled off really robust worlds before.
Sure.
San Andreas.
Yeah, and then this last part where they say that the hype is mainly in nerd/gamer culture and not in the market that pushed Call of Duty into the billions. I honestly don't think that's true. I mean, I think that the people who are bros for Call of Duty are going to look at this. It's almost more like GTA is catered to those people.
Yeah,
because it's like they're not showing like upgrade systems. They're showing some sleazy redneck running meth and blowing houses up. Some gangster and some gangbang. Or I don't know. I don't want to make the assumption that Franklin is a gangbanger, but they show violence.
He might be an editor at Esquire. Or perhaps the New Yorker.
I'm not racist. I don't want to be racist. I don't want to be racist, man. That they're showing in those trailers these folks that, in my opinion, seem to appeal to. I mean, that last trailer that came out where they had the dude walking down the street with a minigun and full Kevlar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why wouldn't that not appeal to the Call of Duty bros? They like shooting people. You shoot people.
Yeah.
Not only that, but you run over pedestrians and you do property damage. And
Oh, yes, we will.
Yeah.
Both of those things and more. So, CUDA.
Yeah.
We disagree on every point.
I don't think it's going to be a problem.
If we are wrong and Grand Theft Auto 5 is a commercial failure,
What are you doing
Jeff
here?
will give you
Not me. Quit making it
hot
me.
oil rub down.
It's not me, man.
back massage,
Don't listen to Jason.
not full release.
I haven't told
unless
you-
you guys want to work out something on the side, whatever.
I haven't told you guys in a while, but you shouldn't listen to what Jason says. He's the devil and a liar. Fuck Walter White. Jason Murphy is the devil.
Jeff will give you a back massage.
It's just my luck that the person that I end up working with all day, every day, the devil, obviously. All right. So,
Bring on GTA 5.
You know what? It would be interesting if GTA 5 turned out to be a failure.
Don't you say that.
It would be heartbreaking because
Oh,
it would
yeah.
mean that like this whole industry is going to be so gun shy from ever trying anything ever again.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
would piss me off to no end. But I honestly don't think, I mean, like you said, people that don't even play very many video games are like, I need to get my Xbox out. Fucking
Yeah.
GTA's coming out, you know? Mm-hmm. It's one of those, like, it's an event, and more
It is.
so than a lot of other stuff these days. Also, I have to say that Rockstar, they're pretty savvy by making us wait years for this shit.
Oh, I know, building up the anticipation like that. Yeah, when I get to play a little bit of it at E3.
No, you didn't. It's never at E3.
You kind of believed me there for just a second. Just a second, you kind of believed me.
You motherfucker. If you played it, we would have talked about it. And if we talked about it, I would know it. God damn it. All right. Question number 2. This one's a little bit longer. Howdy, gents. Long-time listener, first-time inquirer. I'm even older than y'all, tracing my... Oh, nice use of y'all, dude. Tracing my game roots all the way back to a cocktail-style Pong machine that I played at a bowling alley in the
Right
70s. The ensuing trail of tears induced sleepless nights playing air-sea battle on my friend's 2600, sordid affair with the Commodore 264, or Commodore 64, including a program written in BASIC to roll virtual dice during weekly D&D encounters.
High five, dude.
Yeah, and sweaty afternoons with other teenage boys in the 80s in arcades handling our
Could
joysticks
have used better word
in
choice
front
in
of
that
beefy
sentence.
consoles labeled Sinistar and Robotron.
Beefy, sweaty teenage boys. Okay, no.
Obviously, he's talking to you.
Clearly.
Now in my 40s and waiting patiently for death.
Handling our joysticks. And he did it on purpose. I thought I was just perverting it. No. He did that.
No, reread that. Yeah.
Well played, sir.
Now in my 40s and waiting patiently for death, I find occasional solace in the sweet Soma of Skyrim, Fallout, or Bioshock on my 360, and of course in the classy, sassy hijinks of Loretta carrying marzipan and their human puppet masters at Rage's like, I'm going to take a minute to say, I like the way this guy puts an email together.
Yeah.
But enough about you. This is about my questions.
One of our people.
For sweet, tender-hearted Jason in particular, are you familiar with an unforgettable little arcade gem from the 80s named Chiller? I'll include a link below to refresh your memory or tickle your fancy. My follow-up question, what other old arcade games using the old light gun or some technical innovation do you count amongst your favorites? Thanks for your service to the internet, and keep on keeping it classy. Yours in Jeebus, Simia Canis in Durham, North Carolina.
Thank you for the awesome email, Simia. I don't remember Chiller. Do you?
I'm not going to open it up because it'll start tainting the recording, but let's see.
Okay.
I think I know what he's talking about. This was a game... it was an old game that had a light gun and like a stick on it. So, let's see. Where it was like in a haunted house type of thing.
Oh, wow.
It had a so it was just
I never
a, like,
saw this. Look at those screenshots.
Oh yeah. I remember this where you have to shoot people. You have to shoot up a bunch of like bodies and stuff like that are hanging around.
What?
Like this is what it looks like, and then it goes to like that when you're shooting all the people up.
Oh my God! The best thing ever.
You've never seen
Why
Chiller?
did I not know about this? God, my life is a lie, Jeff.
Black Widow, Chiller, Chiller.
Look at this ridiculous brutality.
Yeah, I've heard about this before.
They're just people like chained up and like it's an abattoir.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
See, here's the actual arcade cabinet itself. Chiller. Oh, looks like it had like a gun. Yeah, I've heard about this before. I've never actually played it, but I've seen screenshots of it previously.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you guys, if you're listening and sitting in front of a computer or something, you got to look this up. This game looks ridiculously, absurdly brutal with people all chained up in torture devices, and you are shooting them and making like body parts fall off and stuff. It's this weird,
nudity.
little
You see that?
horror game. Oh, and some nudity.
And some
awesome.
nudity.
Okay.
Oh, look at this.
And there was an NES game, but
Probably with no nudity.
probably with no nudity. Yeah.
Anyway, so his other
Man.
question is, what other old arcade games using the light gun
Add
or
that
some
to the
technical
bucket list.
animation do you rank amongst your favorites?
Oh, those are always kind of crappy.
I got an answer.
What is it?
G-Lock.
G-Lock.
Was that it? Or no, it was Afterburner, right? With the cabinet that moved.
Oh, yeah,
where
yeah.
you got inside of it.
Afterburner had
and
that,
it would fucking
yeah.
like, what? And the whole thing
Yeah.
rotated from side to side and shit.
Yeah.
Like, that was...
There were several games like that, but is he talking about specifically light gun games?
Well, he says light gun
or some other technical innovation.
I'm taking the out.
Yeah. No, Afterburner, that was one of the ones where you could get into the cabinet and it would rotate and move and everything. There were a couple like that. They were usually like, there was one, and I don't remember what it was called, but it was a space game, and it almost looked like
Zaxxon.
No, it was like mocap FMV looking stuff, where you would fly around like asteroids and shooting at ships and stuff, flying
Asteroids.
through canyon. Nope, that wasn't it either. But yeah, it would move around, and those were the machines that always broke down,
Right.
like right away,
Right. And if they were working, they were like $2.
Oh yeah,
And when arcades were like a quarter for games, you
Yeah,
had to
they
decide, am I going
yeah.
to eat, 8 plays on video games for one? Because
Yeah.
you could, Afterburner, I was never good enough as a kid to get past like
Oh, I know.
2. So, but yeah. Also, I will say that for light gun games, LA Machine Guns.
yeah.
LA Machine Guns had that giant machine gun, and the thing would just fucking shake
shudder,
the entire
yeah.
time.
There was one. What was it? Was like a Normandy beach game. I can't remember what it's called.
Beachhead?
Where you're just in a turret.
Beachhead 2000?
That's the
where you
one.
just turn around and
That's
turn.
the one.
Yep.
That was good. And also, of course, the original Star Wars with that
With the vector gun, or with the
with
vector.
that weird controller. Mm-hmm.
With the little Road Blasters thing is. So
yeah, it was like a Road Blasters
Yeah.
controller. And it
Actually,
didn't
that-
look anything like an X-wing, joystick or
Oh, yeah.
anything like that.
Oh, actually, that would technically be. That wasn't a Road Blasters controller. Road Blasters was a Star Wars
yeah,
controller.
Still, I always liked that one.
What was the one? Was it Battlezone where you'd shove your face up in it? It
yeah,
was like looking
yeah.
through a
That was
tank?
actually, if I'm not mistaken, based on a game that was actually developed for the military
I
to
can believe it.
train them in tank combat, and there are some of them still in use or something like
Okay,
that.
so here's a memory question for you. Do you remember what the name was? I don't even know if it had a name, but you remember in the arcade, like one of the first things, way back in the corner, they always had it. It was a very old game where you were basically skeet shooting. It was basically duck hunt.
Oh, yeah.
But you had like a full size, like
Yeah.
a rifle, and
Yeah.
it was this like picture of a sunset where these little white
Yeah.
dots would go boop across.
No, they had that, and they had a variant on it that was golf,
Oh yeah,
where you could do line drives on that. But
The
I don't
game
remember.
Sucked.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. But I don't remember it ever having a. I don't remember it ever having a name. I always saw it, and I would be like, no.
As for
whatever.
light gun games, everybody knows that Revolution X, the Aerosmith game, is obviously the greatest light gun game that's ever been created.
Silent Scope. Was that
Or-
the one with the snipers?
Silent Scope's pretty good. Crossbow, though.
Crossbow was the original. That was OG. Yeah. I sucked at that so bad.
Yeah. All right, here's our next question is from Sean, and this one says, "Hey, Jeff and Jason, it's Sean from the LA meetup." Sorry, Sean. I wanted to say that you guys are the best around, so much so that Joe Esposito should write a song about you.
Awesome. Yes, I agree.
Jeff, like you, I was glad to witness the demise of the music industry in places like Blockbuster. Suck it. So here's my question. I don't understand why if you buy and download a new game, why it still costs the same as a physical copy when much of the cost of hard copies comes from the production shipping to retail stores. What's the incentive to download a new game when it costs the same as a physical copy and takes up memory on a device you install it on, and you can't lend the game out to your friends? Sean.
That is a very good point.
I was wondering how much do you actually think the cost of a $60 game actually is? The packaging, because you have to imagine. I mean, there's got to be something for disc pressing and shipping
Yeah.
and all that stuff, but it can't be a huge amount, right?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, the discs, they're cheap to make, but the packaging and paying for the shelf space and the shipping
Yeah.
and the logistics. He's right. That's where all of those things add up to a good chunk of the budget. And that was something that as digital media really was becoming more when it was much more nascent or nascent, however you pronounce that. We were promised that stuff's going to get cheaper, and some things have. Music has.
I think that some games have. I mean, a lot of times you'll see stuff that's $60 for your Xbox for $50 on Steam or less.
Okay.
And I also think that.
But still, Steam is one of the few that's embracing that, and that's really what's made Steam strong.
Well, you also have things. I mean, and this is not.
But you go on Xbox though, and they'll have stuff on the shelves that's $60.
Sure.
And then you'll find it the downloadable version on the Xbox Live, and it's still $60.
Okay, I'm looking this up right now.
And it's just like, that's no. I mean, it's all just profiteering, and it was naive of us to think that they would cut the cost down. Now, as far as physical media goes, some people like having the copies of the disc. I'm one of those people. Every now and then I kind of waffle and I think, it would be nice if I could clear up the shelf space from all these comics / DVDs / games or whatever. But I just like having the physical copy.
I'm going to say that with the digital-only releases, they do tend to be that maybe let's be brutally frank about it. The reason it's $60 is because they can get $60.
Yeah.
And usually when they can't get $60 anymore, that price starts dropping.
Right.
And that's one of the major advantages to digital distribution is that it's so much easier. You don't have to have somebody go out there and mark it down.
Yeah.
You don't have to change the system.
Right.
You just go to the PlayStation Store and you turn the dial down to $20 for the weekend.
So here's what we should do. Let's take a stand right now.
Yeah.
Let's just wait them out.
You can. We actually talked about this, about like if you can control yourself, can you imagine how awesome it would be when the PlayStation, and they just announced a slightly like a $170 PlayStation that has, but it has 12 gigs of RAM on board or something like that. But can you imagine how awesome it would be if you were able to get a generation behind in video games? If you had like, say, 5 years.
You say that, yes. But I'm sorry, finish your thought.
Well, no, but I mean, if you could, what we were even saying is if you wait a year, if you could make it, not 5 years is a bit much, but if you could make it a year, you say like, I'm only going to play games that came out last year. Can you imagine all the stuff from like 2012? How fucking cheap it would be to get all that stuff?
Well, I did that for a while.
Yeah.
For a while, I only bought like the cheapest games at GameStop online, or I would download stuff from the underdogs, like abandonware. I spent a lot of time playing that stuff, and it was cool and everything, but I hate to say it, but in a lot of cases, nostalgia in video games is wrong.
Yeah.
And it's hard to sit there playing games on the underdog, even though they're cool and quaint and everything, when you're sitting there hearing your friends talk about Black Flag or something.
Right.
It just, you can't do it. And it's, things are constantly improving.
Well, plus, I also maybe briefly talk about hard copies of video games.
And I shouldn't say that as a broad generalization as such, but yeah, by and large.
I came to a point eventually where I sat down and kind of like thought about, of all these games that I have purchased over the years, how many and how often do I ever put them back into the console?
Right.
And this was maybe 2 or 3 years into doing GameFly, or a year into doing GameFly, and it was like I was buying a lot of games from GameFly. Like, hey, that game was great. I'm going to keep it just in case I want to play it ever again someday.
And you never do.
You never do.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you do, it doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
It's not as good as you thought it was.
One of my favorite games, Skyrim.
Yeah.
Only time I put it back in is when there was DLC.
Or, to be honest, I mean, like, do you have any interest in playing your PlayStation 2 games? I mean, like,
I keep saying that I do. Every now and then, when the only ones that I will put back in after a while are the ones that once I'm done with that initial fixation, or once I finished it or whatever.
Yeah.
The only ones that I put back in are the arcadey type games. Like I will still go back and play Joust, just for a few minutes, or Geometry Wars,
Right.
or Gyrus.
PlayStation 2.
But PlayStation 2 specifically,
Yeah.
The only ones that I do are like the collections, like
Yeah.
that, like the
arcade collections.
like arcade collections,
Which a
like
lot of
Konami or Capcom or whatever.
That stuff is also starting to become so cheap and prevalent that it's almost like
Exactly.
you're just like, why don't I just go fucking buy it again for $10 wherever it is?
Right. I'll just
You know.
it's on the arcade or the PlayStation Store or whatever.
But I mean, I understand. It would be nice. Like Kevin, he has all those systems, those old systems,
and he never plays them.
But you know what? I talked with Kevin about this. Kevin has all those old systems, no games. He has
Really?
very few. He has like one game that will work in each system because he's not interested in collecting the games for them.
Yeah.
And he knows that he's not going to play them. He's interested in the nostalgia of the consoles and of the actual hardware itself. And so, I even go back further and say, like,
That's weird.
There was a time in my life where I was nostalgic and I would go back and play that stuff, but like, I've had my Super Nintendo. I haven't plugged it in 10 years. The last time I plugged it in was to make sure it worked, and it did.
Yeah.
And I played Super Mario World because I wanted to see if it worked on my HD TV, and I did. And then I turned it off and I put it away. But a PlayStation 1, I don't care about PlayStation 1 games.
Yeah.
I don't care about PlayStation 2 games.
Well, it's funny because I had we've talked about this before, but like I was reading something on a like Cracked or something. They were talking about video games, and they mentioned Fester's Quest. I used to love Fester's Quest. I'm a big Addams Family fan.
Sure. Yeah.
And then I was looking at the screenshots and I'm like, oh, that looks shitty.
Did you put it back in and play it?
No, I don't know where it is.
Also, you will also find a lot of times that when you put it back in and play it, no.
Yeah,
it's
see, that's what I'm saying. Nostalgia is bullshit.
So, I mean, I understand with wanting to be able to have access to that. It's just the simple fact of the matter. I mean, I used to have all these CDs burned of movies that I downloaded.
Yeah.
I just don't watch them.
Yeah.
I got 500 disc things full of CDs.
Right.
I don't watch them.
Well, you know how many movies I have.
Yeah. How many do you watch?
I haven't seen those movies
Yeah.
in almost a year. All of them are still in storage.
And I'm sure that, I mean, some of them you may be interested in getting back out again, but as far as I'm concerned, for the most part, if you can rent it for a couple bucks on Amazon, why the fuck would you need to drag it back out again?
Yeah.
Or,
go to your local video store if there is such a thing still. If you've got an independently owned one, you can find, because I've been doing that lately and renting movies there, and like $2 for 5 days or something for some obscure thing you can't find on Amazon.
Yeah.
But still, I will watch it once, and it might be a great movie. But that's it,
And I mean, I understand the argument a lot of people say about I want to have a physical copy just in case, but I don't think it's necessary anymore.
The
as
things
long as
you
people
own end up owning you.
I mean, as long as people are willing to pay money for video games, they will make them available to you.
Yeah.
I mean, you may not be able to play online, whatever, but look how long. Like, when they shut down Xbox Live, why Xbox Live for the original Xbox?
Yeah.
The reason that they still had that turned on?
No, why?
Halo 2. Because people were playing Halo.
Oh, those people.
On there, and they did not want to shut. I think it was Halo 2. Pretty sure it was Halo 2. And they didn't shut it down because people were still playing it.
Yeah.
This isn't doing nothing but costing them money. It's not making them any money at all. So
I like to say that a message just popped up. All right, get with it, assholes. And then they just unplugged it.
What? Oh,
yeah. They're like, seriously.
All right.
Move on.
So I'm going to skip this question.
Okay.
I'm going to go to this question. This question is from Harpua. It says, hey, guys, big fan of the site. Been listening to you guys for quite some time now. Looking forward to what you have in store for us in the future. I've been gaming for close to 30 years now. I turned 34 this year. And
Another
I remember,
old dude up top, man.
Yeah. Getting my Atari 7800 when I was around 7 years old. Ever since then, I was hooked and have been gaming ever since. In the past few years, the time I have for gaming has become less and less, though. I got married a few years ago and had a son almost 2 years ago. Real life responsibility has taken precedence over gaming time. I've also been noticing that my gaming skills do not seem to be what they once were either. I'm not sure whether it was just that getting older has taken its toll on my reaction times or whether games in general have become harder as of late. My question to you guys is this. Have you noticed that as you've gotten older, are newer games requiring faster and faster reflexes or just requiring more time and dedication to get good at these days? Keep up the good work, and I look forward to Rage Select's domination of the internet. All hail the Lord and Savior, Gary Marzipan.
Hail Gary
from Harpua. You can give Gary a big head, man. Don't hail him too much. he's going to get all bent out of shape. He's
It's true.
He's going to get out here.
Games are not harder; they're easier. Games are easier.
Okay, one of the reasons I picked this question is because I wanted to ask you about this. Is that the median difficulty level for games is easier?
Yeah.
We can definitely say that.
Yeah.
But that hard games or games that are reliant on quick reflexes, like super fast reflexes, and a lot of quick pickup or quick memorization, devotion to learning stuff on, I find myself less tolerant of those, and it may be because of the way that games have gotten easier over time.
Most games in the past would require repetition.
Right.
Rote reactions, remembering exactly when something was going to shoot or jump at you, knowing exactly when you jumped or moved and stuff like that. It was that way for a very long time. And the patterns just aren't there anymore. And I think the patterns really, I don't know if it was reflexes exactly, but maybe if you just tried it over and over, you did hone your reflexes. Now it's more, I don't know, there's a little more abstract thinking and problem solving, because and a little more reacting to your environment and planning on the fly rather than running through the simulation over and over and over, because enemies have gotten smarter. They don't do the same thing all the time. There's a lot more level variation now.
Sure.
So things are very different. I think it's probably requiring you to use more of your brain.
I guess I'm thinking of games that are more in the style of those older types of games. I mean, like Super Meat Boy is harder than a lot of stuff, but that's kind of a specialty.
Or is it just as hard as, say, Wizards and Warriors or whatever?
I think it's harder than that.
Okay.
It's been a while. It's been a while. For me, I was just thinking that one of the reasons that I have a hard time these days with fighting games, is because it seems like people are just way faster and better at them, and it could be. And I think that when
you play a lot. Both of us play a larger quantity of games.
Very true.
We rarely give ourselves time to get good at any one game.
Very true. Very true. And I've also, I mean, I can honestly say that even before we were doing this for, as a living, for money, whatever, that I was still, I was less and less interested in playing one game and getting really good at it than I was, I want to play all the games, man. I just want to play all the games. They're all so cool and so groovy.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to play them all.
But Harpua, back when we were kids, and you're probably the same way, it's like you had one game.
Yeah.
And that's what you had to deal with for the next couple of months. So you were going to be a badass at it eventually.
Yeah. Sparkle Fandango played F-Zero last week. My best friend, when I was a kid, had F-Zero, and he let me borrow it, and that was the only game I had. And you know what? I could beat that game on the hardest difficulty level without ever having to continue, because that was the one game.
Yeah.
You played over and over and over and over and over again.
And everything on that game, it bears mentioning, was in a pattern.
Yes, sure.
All the tracks.
I'm sure that you could play Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo on the hardest difficulty level and just whoop its ass.
Well, funny you should mention that. Back when we did the fundraiser, we kicked it off with me playing that against Allison.
Right.
And I as I recall, I was whipping her ass.
Uh-huh.
And I never do that when I'm trying to be funny at the same time, Usually it's like, for me to beat somebody, I have to focus and be quiet and play the game, But if I'm, like, joking around and making with the funny on the microphone,
right,
then that takes away 80% of my mojo.
Yeah.
With Mario Kart, I was like, all of that just started coming back to me, and I was just like,
it's muscle memory, right?
Yeah, I was like, it's done.
Yeah, you know how to kick a lot of ass at it. Which is why, some people, I try talking to people about how, because I've played so many different games, I'm trying to whip out my game and dick or anything, is that I have that kind of muscle memory for a lot of games, even games I've never played before.
Yeah.
So once you learn, this is a third-person action game, I played so many third-person action games that playing on autopilot and talking at the same time, that's kind of my thing. It's not being good at any one specific thing, but
dude, God, you say that, and it's like suddenly you threw on the switch, turned on the vortex. All vagina will just get pulled in your direction. You start laying that mojo down at the bar, dude.
Yeah,
It's on.
Yo, baby.
It is on.
You like video games?
Yeah, check it out. I played so much shit, man. I had repetitive strain injury.
I do have a shoulder issue right now.
I know. And she's like, "Oh my God, let's go home and you can be inside my vagina."
Yeah.
You're like, I play with all those buttons all the time. You know what that means? Yeah, dude. It's
eye-hand coordination.
It's a flawless plan.
Right.
You can use that. I give you permission because I think I couldn't use it, but you could. I want you to use that on one condition.
You get to film it.
I have to be there filming it.
Right. See, this laughter makes me think that you might not be altogether genuine.
No, I want you to reap vagina.
Right. The vagina whirlwind.
I will reap the vagina whirlwind. I want you to be like pushing a wheelbarrow of pussy away from the park. Look at all this pussy video games have got me.
You mess with the vagina bowl, you get the vagina horns. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes. And I just want you to go, you were right, Jason. High five.
Right.
Freeze frame.
Yeah.
The Touch starts playing by Stan Bush.
Mm-hmm.
And you go home with your harem of women who sit there and do unspeakable things to you.
While I play the game.
While you play the game.
While you play the game.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner.
I'm going to just interject right here and say you mentioned The Touch by Stan Bush.
Mm-hmm.
I've never felt like like a bigger hipster in my entire life than when I was playing Saints Row 4 and The Touch is in there. And I'm like, this is that 2008 remastered version. I like the version from the Transformers soundtrack. I disgust myself. Also, speaking of, you had talked before when your Mario Kart story about the Barmageddon, right?
Yes.
There's been a lot of people out there asking us if we're going to do another fundraiser. And I wanted to just briefly address that for those of you listening, that probably not in the near future, just because it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and also, I mean, we just started the Patreon stuff.
And it's going well.
And it doesn't feel right to do like, hey, we just kicked off some subscription stuff.
Right.
And we're going to do a fundraiser. That doesn't
like
feel
double
right.
dipping. It feels like
trying to take advantage of you guys. And I'm not okay with that. Now, we might do some crazy kind of thing, some big event.
A thing?
Yeah, we've batted around ideas.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be like a 12-hour video game marathon or something like that, but something where you guys can like participate in some sort of live event. We're going to do something relatively soon. We just don't know what yet.
Yeah,
we're throwing around ideas.
And the main issue is that even if we were to do a marathon event that didn't have some kind of fundraiser attached to it, it would be a lot of work. It would be a huge amount of work for us. It would probably impact other stuff happening on the website. And the result,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll get back to you on that. But yeah, we're going to be doing some live streaming stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have some sort of marathon.
The main
in the
problem
future
right now has just been that there hasn't been a lot of stuff out that's been interesting to play multiplayer. So I don't know.
Well, and we don't have time.
Maybe I'll start live streaming that Hearthstone.
Yeah. Well, once the new consoles come out, you'll just be able to live stream all sorts of stuff, just easily.
Shit. Yes. I was actually talking with Kevin about whether I think that's going to, like, who put you guys out of business? Microsoft and Sony. Everybody could do it, and it wasn't special anymore. Yeah. But who else has such charming wit? Puppets. Charming puppets. All right, this next question is from Miguel, and this is kind of a long one, but he says, "Hey, Jeff, Jason, and guest," which I assume means, I don't know. I'm loving the content you guys have been putting out, and I wish you well in all future projects. Thank you, sir. I love gaming and anime, so it should be a surprise. No, this is right up your alley. So it should be a surprise that I love me some JRPGs, Persona 4, Golden, Catherine, etc. I sometimes can't stand the mentality of some JRPG. Can't understand. Yeah, sorry. I sometimes can't understand the mentality of some JRPG gamers when they needlessly feel that they need to put down / bash a perfectly good, if not great, dub of a game. As was the case for Persona 4, Golden, and Catherine. Yet they always praise the Japanese audio like it's a gift from God himself. To be clear, some of these games are dubbed only in the U.S. I understand that it's all based on preference, but how much of it is really preference and how much of it is hive mentality that, quote, English dub sucks, so I won't be buying this game, blah, 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 blah. Sure, there have been bad dubs before, but I don't think it's fair to make the judgment that all dubs are bad based on a few sinkers. So my questions are... is the hate a game dub gets... God, I'm sorry, I can't read anymore. Is the hate a game dub gets justified, or is it an excuse not to purchase it? Is importing a Japanese game, even though you don't know the language, just to avoid an English dub silly? Thank you. Hope this wasn't too long, Miguel. I think this can actually speak also to movies.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think we've talked about this before.
Have we?
Maybe not on the podcast, but I've talked about this with someone. I think it's okay avoiding an English dub if you don't speak Japanese.
Yes. I agree.
Because the thing is, it's like when I'm watching a foreign film that's just has subtitles, these people speaking Indonesian or whatever, they might be horrible fucking actors, but I can't tell because I don't know what they're saying.
Right.
I'm just reading and I'm losing a lot just by reading the subtitles. And I think it's probably the same thing. It's like, how do you know those Japanese lines aren't delivered really poorly?
Absolutely.
You don't. So it's like, but you can understand the English one. And so, yeah, when it's bad acting.
Sure.
With games and with movies, same thing. So it's like, I'll watch anime, and I usually prefer to play it when it's to watch it when it's subtitled.
Yeah.
Because I can't understand the Japanese. But if I could, I bet it would be I shouldn't say I bet it would be, but it could very well be really bad.
Absolutely. Everything you said, that's exactly what I was going to say. The only maybe thing to add briefly is that maybe if you're not subtitle fluent, like I know some people who just can't watch a movie with subtitles because they can either focus on the subtitles or the movie.
I get that, and it doesn't mean they're stupid or slow or anything.
No.
I totally get that.
Yeah,
it's like I think I've talked about this before on Loose Cannon. Whenever I'm reading a comic, I'll realize sometimes, depending on the comic, that I have read the entire thing and barely looked at the art.
Really,
and I think that's the same kind of disconnect there. In that I was so focused on the dialogue and the captions and stuff like that that I missed all this great art, so I'll have to go back and look at it again.
Yeah.
I think the same thing can happen with games and stuff like that. With games especially.
Yeah.
Because if you put the subtitles on, like a lot of times I'll be playing and I won't be listening. Even when we're not playing on this, I will not hear the cues that other characters give me telling me to do stuff because I'm focused on figuring out where I'm going, or like looking like, looking over here and on the left and what's going on over. Oh wait, they just told me to do something, and there were captions that popped up,
right?
And I didn't read them, because I was too focused on something else. So I think it might be even harder on games.
Well, you have more input in games, so it's more to focus on than just the passive activity of watching a movie or whatever. I think that whenever I have for me, it's whatever it was originally recorded in. It could be Japanese, it could be Dutch, it could be German, whatever language it originally was, that's the language that I want it in.
Yeah.
And then I want subtitles. So, but yeah, everything you said, totally my opinion, is that a bad Japanese dub, I don't know Japanese, so they could be the shittiest actors in the world. I would have no idea.
Yep.
All right, we got a couple more questions left to go, and these should be pretty short. Next one is from Dude Approved Bud. Okay. Hey guys, I have a problem and I don't know where to turn. I need to find a non-graphically intense game to play while I am at work. At this point, there are so many games out there that I don't even know where to begin when looking for a new time-wasting game to play. I tend to enjoy fantasy, RTS, sci-fi, or RPG type games, but I'd really like to find a good empire-building game with some strategic elements to it. I need something that I can easily pause and come back to. Or something that I can set up, walk away for 5 to 15 minutes, and then come back to later. Tried Forge or Empires for a few days, but after the first day or so, it slows way down with nothing to do until the timers run out. To make things faster, you're forced to buy diamonds and spend them at a ridiculous rate to instantly finish your timers. Do you have any suggestions for me? I don't mind free-to-play games as long as the game is still fun and playable for people that can't afford to dump cash into it. Thanks for your consideration. I will try to log on to RageSelect.com at least once a day for you. It's the least I can do for all the amazing content you provide. Thank you, Dude Approved Bud. P.S. Keep up the great work. Everyone at Rage Select has amazed me with their talent, perseverance, and general ability to be awesome. Shockingly, I am not the most social of people, but you all make me feel like I belong somewhere. Thank you for that.
Welcome home, dude.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if this guy is looking for something browser only, but
yeah, I mean that's
the first thing that came to mind for me was Civilization, obviously.
yeah. I was thinking. I mean, if he likes fantasy and stuff like that, I was thinking like what is it? Age of Myths? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I don't know
Age of
what you're
Myths
talking
or
about.
Age of it's from Age of Empires, but it's got like all these Greek myths and stuff like that to it. I was always really curious about that. But yeah, those are rarely Age of Mythology. Yeah.
Okay.
Those are rarely very intense as far as graphics go, and it's older, so maybe you can work with that. Or like, what was the Lord of the Rings RTS? There were a couple.
Battle
of them,
for Middle Earth.
Battle for Middle Earth.
Okay, so if you're interested in sci-fi and empire building, you could probably pick up Alpha Centauri for a song.
Empire build, yeah.
That would run on anything. It's a super long, complicated game.
Yeah.
Lets you do all kinds of... I've always liked Alpha Centauri better than the Civilization series because of the unit customization. What was the...
I don't...
He already mentioned Galactic Gal Civ, right? Galactic
Yeah, I don't know if you can... If this is available anywhere on the PC, but Fire Emblem, any of the Fire Emblem games.
No, but you could probably pick up an older, like a GBA or a 2DS or something like that and
Easily.
get it.
Yep. Not well. You gotta. He's looking for something
like
to
Empire
play
building.
on his PC though that he can pause and come back
Empire
to.
building, good turn-based strategy game. XCOM's too tactical. I'm going to go with Alpha Centauri. I'm going to go with the Sid Meier's
Or
stuff.
RPG type games.
Turn-based RPG. Baldur's Gate. You go get that HD Baldur's Gate. If you got an iPad, you could run it on there.
Yeah.
Pause that shit and come back at any time.
Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter Nights. Yeah, but that's not really empire building. Those are more story driven. But
it is RPG.
It's very long term. It's very pause it and come back to it.
Majesty. That was a fun game.
I don't remember that.
Did you play Majesty? Majesty was like an RTS, but you didn't control the hero units. You just built a town.
Oh yeah,
it was really weird. It was like microprose. I'm trying to think of newer. I haven't had an ability to get into newer stuff because it's not empire building, but you could do a lot worse than FTL when it comes to time waste and turn based shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think we got enough stuff out there for him.
Let us know what you find, and if you guys have any, take it to the
take it to the comments.
Yeah, take it down to the comments, and I'm sure people can hook you up with that. I actually really like those types of games. I just don't really have a lot of time to play them.
Sci-fi RPG that is turn-based. You could probably get OG Fallout 1 and 2 on Steam for like
or good old
couple
games.
bucks a piece.
Yeah.
And those are some big, especially Fallout 2. I never even managed to beat Fallout 2 because it was so goddamn long.
It was very long. But yeah, take it to the comments and see if you guys can help them out.
Yep. All right, and our last question, which I put in here specifically for you. Hi, Jeff and Jason, and whoever's a special guest. We don't have one this week. I currently have a Mac and no gaming PC, so I can't play today's modern games. With that, I was looking through the Mac App Store and found there are 3 Star Wars games that I have heard were really good. Star Wars The Old Republic, Jedi Knight 2, and Jedi Knight 3 Jedi Academy. My question is, what were your memories of these games, and which one should I play first?
Man.
Keep up the amazing work, guys. Ian.
Oh.
Now, I wonder if he means Knights of the Old Republic, or if he means Sweater, the Star Wars The Old Republic.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Well, that seems like Star Wars The Old Republic. I mean, that's exactly what he said.
Right.
But it doesn't seem like an old game.
No.
But so, yeah. I don't know what he means there, but Jedi Knight 2 and Jedi Knight 3 Jedi Academy were both just totally kick-ass. And I mean, if you're between those 3, go to Jedi Knight 2.
Start with Jedi Knight 2 and then go to Jedi Knight Jedi. I don't think that's actually technically Jedi Knight 3. I think that's just Jedi Academy. Jedi Academy.
Yeah, they got a little because loose.
Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight.
Yeah.
Jedi Knight 2. It's one of those Rambo problems.
Right. Yeah. But both of those were good. Take those in chronological order. If that is Star Wars The Old Republic, the MMO, well, that's a different ball of wax.
Well, it's free to play, so if it is, you could get up to level 25. I thought Star Wars The Old Republic was a fun game.
From what little I played of it, it's a couple of hours worth. I liked it. Yeah, it seemed cool.
Let's see what the Mac App Store has in the realm of games. I can also tell you right now that there was a bunch of stories last week that BioShock Infinite just came out for the Mac. So
jump on that,
like,
dude.
If your Mac is good enough to play it or whatever, The new Mac App Store. Well, where is it, Mac? Games.
Monopoly.
No.
That's a fun one.
Oh, do I have to install?
Lego Star Wars Saga. Actually, cool.
Oh, I have to download. Wait.
Download the store itself.
I don't know how to view in Mac App Store. Okay. Yes, website doesn't seem to be doing anything for me.
Not real helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I can tell you also.
Those are all 3 good games that you mentioned there.
Yeah. If you can if you can find Knights of the Old Republic, I'm not sure if it's on the Mac or not.
I don't know.
On the PC, I don't know if they've reported it, but that is a good one, and it'll give you a lot of bang for your bucks. Yeah, and that's it. So we're done.
We're done.
Yep.
And tell them again where they can email us.
Folks, we can't do this show without your emails, so please email your questions about, pretty much anything. I mean, I think we've already answered every gaming question ever has already been answered by us, right?
Yep. All of them.
Yep. To
listen to our wisdom and go to bars and use my technique to pick up women with the gaming knowledge that we have imparted to you.
Film yourself and then send us the films.
Think of so. I really genuinely want to see this. I want you to come up with some filthy video game related pickup lines. And use them in bars, film it, or have a friend film it, and send us the link. Post it up to YouTube, send us the link. We will feature it on the site.
Do you think the girl... No, we're not on the main player, mind you. Maybe in a wrap-up post someday.
We might feature it on the
site. I
like
like the way that you just decided. You're just like, we will turn the website into your video. Do you think the girl isn't going to be a little bit suspicious when you walk up with your iPhone recording the entire time?
Don't care.
Yep. Because people are just going to have their friends play the girl. We don't know them. We don't know these people.
Still, if it seems false, then rejected, denied.
Yeah. Anyway, mail@rageselect.com is the email address. Mail@rageselect.com is the email address. I'm going to say it a third time. Mail@rageselect.com is the email address. We need your questions. I'm not going to even bother doing all the stuff that we normally do.
Yeah, we're on Twitter and Facebook.
I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you the one that we forgot this week in some of our videos. Hey, whitelist us in your ad blocker. We'd appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, that'll help.
If you want to do it. So thanks very much for all your questions, and we will talk to you next time.
See ya.